Once upon a time, long ago, in the mountains of what is now China, there lived a beautiful and clever young woman named Xian. Xian's parents had died when she was just an infant. Now she lived alone with her stepmother and stepsister. Xian's stepmother always made her do the dirtiest and hardest chores, like cleaning floors and collecting firewood. Whenever Xian finished a chore, her stepmother gave her a new one. While Xian worked, her stepsister had first pick of everything. Her stepsister was the first one served at dinner while Xian ate leftovers. Her stepsister got new clothes while Xian got her stepsister's old clothes. Her stepmother did not care that Xian wore rags or that her small foot slipped out of her stepsister's big shoes. She also had no time or money to work on her favorite hobby, embroidery. One day, while Xian was collecting firewood, she came upon a fish stuck in a puddle. The fish was beautiful with red fins and golden eyes. Xian had never seen anything like it. She rescued the fish and brought it home with her in secret. Every day, Xian shared her small amount of food with the fish, and every day the fish grew and grew and grew. Xian moved the fish to bigger and bigger bowls. When it outgrew the biggest bowl, she moved it to a nearby pond. She still went there every day to the pond to share her food with the fish, and every day it would come to greet her. The fish was very smart and only did this with Xian. When everyone else came to the pond, it would hide under the water. Xian's stepmother knew about the fish. She tried waiting for it by the pond, but the fish stayed hidden. So the stepmother tricked Xian, telling her, "You've been working so hard. You deserve a new dress." She made Xian take off her ragged clothes and try on the dress. Then she sent her to collect more firewood. While Xian was gone, her stepmother put on her rag clothes and went back to the pond. The fish, thinking the stepmother was Xian, swam up to her. Xian's stepmother caught the fish and served it for dinner. She hid the leftover fish bones in the trash. The next morning, when Xian went to the pond, the fish was gone. Scared and sad for her friend, Xian fell to her knees and started to cry. Suddenly, a spirit appeared to her. "Don't cry," the spirit told her. "Your stepmother has killed the fish, but go rescue its bones from this trash and bury them. Whatever you wish for, you only need to ask the bones, and your wish will be granted." Xian followed the spirit's advice. The fish bones gave her anything she asked. Mostly, she simply asked for fabric and thread so she could start doing embroidery again in secret. The time came for the yearly song festival. Xian's stepmother and stepsister went, but they made Xian stay home. Once they were gone, Xian went to her room and put on new clothes she had made for herself, beautiful golden shoes and a new blue dress. Then, too, left for the festival. Just as Xian got there, she saw her stepmother. Scared that her stepmother would see her, Xian ran home. As she ran, she lost one of her beautiful shoes. The next morning, a farmer found Xian's golden shoe. He sold it to one of the king's footmen, who took it to the king. The king had never seen a slipper decorated so well, especially not one so small. He asked every woman in his palace to try on the shoe, but it didn't fit anybody. Now the king was curious. He wanted to meet the person who could embroider so well and who could fit into such a small shoe. The farmer took the king and his men back to the spot where he'd found the shoe in Xian's village. The king had the shoe placed on a table by the side of the road. Next to it, he put a sign saying that the shoe would be returned to its owner, but only if she could prove that it fit. Women from all over Xian's village came to try it on because they wanted to own the beautiful shoe. As hard as they tried, it was too small to fit any of their feet. One night, when she thought everyone was asleep, Xian tried to take back her shoe. The king's guard was watching from the bushes. Thinking Xian was a thief, they arrested her. They took her to the king, and she told him everything. She told him about losing the fish with the golden eyes, about the friendly spirit, and about the magic of the fish bones. She put the shoe on, and he saw that she was telling the truth. The king had his guards take Xian back to her house, but he couldn't stop thinking about her. A few days later, the king showed up outside Xian's home and asked to see her. She hadn't stopped thinking about him either. She decided to greet him wearing the same beautiful blue dress and golden shoes that she'd worn to the festival. To the king, Xian was the most beautiful woman he's ever seen. He asked her to marry him. Now that she was a queen, Xian didn't need to pray to the fish bones at all, but the king was greedy. He prayed to the fish bones often. He used them to get more gold, jewels, and jade. One day, they stopped granting wishes for everybody. Xian knew it was because of the king's greed, angry that he couldn't get any richer. The king had the fish bones buried on a beach. They were eventually washed away by the waves.